wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone, so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Right here, right now, it's the Premier Super Truck Sale. 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, and even a 4,500. Ram, Ford, Chevy, GMC. Over 55 trucks. Super Truck Sale price. Save up to $10,000 on select models. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Our community is the driving force behind our stores. Our commitment to you has been our #1 priority for over 30 years. Whether it is providing quality, fresh, local, and affordable products or aiding local schools, churches, and charities, Piggly Wiggly is here for you.
Good morning. Is this us right here? Look at this. What a good-looking group of guys this morning.
Steve needs to be on our show or Forrest's show and talk about his life.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know he was in the restaurant business that long.
Oh, yeah. Steve Camp came to Troy to run a restaurant called Tony's on the bypass, and, you know, we were into restaurants on our show yesterday. Hope that you are looking forward to another great day. It's a Friday. Thank goodness it's a Friday, the 19th day of February. So that's a good way to get it started. But it's 18th
so
instead of the 19th.
Steve came to Troy, didn't know anybody.
That's right.
It was a good restaurant. And at some point, I guess, I don't know, he must have decided to close the restaurant, and now we got to learn how he came to work at Troy Cable, though.
Well, I know this. When he came to work here, he didn't know a soul here, and he didn't know hardly anybody in the studio, and he learned by doing. Yeah. You know, I know that for a fact, and he has really developed quite a program here at Troy Cable, and we appreciate it very much. All the work he's done.
Here's the first time I think I worked with Steve.
Yeah.
I was the membership director of the Chamber of Commerce, and Troy University got a game on TV that rarely happened, on ESPN3 or something, and the city of Troy was going to buy a commercial. Well, somebody came to the Chamber of Commerce and said, can y'all help us come up with a commercial? So I'm the writer, creative type, and they said, Bill, can you do it? And I said, well, yeah, this will be fun. So I came up with an idea and a script for a commercial. You know what it was? I can remember what it was. It says, I got a pretty girl from Troy University, and I said, perhaps you've heard our name, but you can't quite remember our face, or some line like that.
Yeah.
And then I went into a collage of all the neat things and fun things that happened in Troy, Alabama. Landmarks and parades and fireworks. But to get all of that video, where could I get it? Well, I came right here to Troy Cable and Steve Camp, and I said, I need a collage of just cool shots of Troy, and then we put it to the Sound of the South fanfare music. Fight song, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
That they just changed. And I thought it was a really, really good commercial, but Steve Camp did it. He found all that stuff and put it together.
Yeah. And, of course, he's very talented, no question about it, and we appreciate him so much for letting us come in here every morning and talk to you. Of course, it's laid-back television at its very best, and you know, you can't beat it if you want gossip on TV. You got it, because a lot of what we do is gossip. But we hope that you're doing well. Looking forward to a big weekend. Daytona 500 is the big on the main agenda, and you know, there's some people take Daytona 500 more serious than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know,
it is the Super Bowl in NASCAR.
That's
and
right.
It's the very first event of the season.
And it's only a short drive to Daytona to go. And I said one day that I'd go, even though I'm not a big race car fan. I've been to Talladega several times, and
I've never been.
But I've left my ears ring for a month practically. It's so loud. The loudest place in the world is Talladega 500. Of course,
Are those cars really going fast?
They're going fast. Of course, Troy University's got a whole slot of games to be played. But last night in Boone, North Carolina, Troy went in there and beat Appalachian State, and now they're
About 6 points, you said.
it's according to how Arkansas State did against Texas State. If Arkansas State won, Troy is now number 1 in the conference right now.
That is such a big story. And if they would have won Saturday, you know, not been upset, they'd be in first all by themselves.
And I know if you look at Nick, if you're watching this morning, you got a little. I know you're probably shaving and getting ready for a big day, but boy, what a big win we had in basketball last night.
At App State.
At App State.
The number 1 team in the conference.
Yeah.
After losing that disappointing game, bounce back like you got to do, Mike.
That's right.
Great job, men.
And let me tell you what they did. Listen to this. They hit 12 out of 14 free throws, and most of those were pressure-type free throws. And when you do that, if you got a lead, you can keep the lead by shooting foul shots, and that's exactly
college basketball,
did.
pro basketball, high school basketball, they're going to end up being free throw shooting contests, so you better hit your free throws.
And before I get this off my chest here, high school basketball, Charles Henderson of Troy going up against Pike Road today at 10:30 tip today from Yep, exactly.
Historic Garrett Coliseum. Charles Henderson versus Pike Road, that should be a natural rivalry. They're only 35 miles away from each other.
That's right. And you know, of course, I shouldn't say this, but a lot of people do say this. Pike Road's got the best team money can buy. I don't say that, but I know a lot of their players are new to the school, and they're really, really good in every sport. So this is not baseball, but baseball starts at Pike Road this weekend as Coach starts his, second season?
Ponder?
Yeah, Ponder's second season.
Yeah, he was at Pike LeBlanc.
He won two state championships, I think.
Did a remarkable job. His protege took over and is now the coach, athletic director, baseball coach, and football coach, Rush Hickson.
Yeah. Well, and also talking back to Troy, softball today has Ole Miss coming to Troy to play Troy in softball.
Today?
Along with today. The tournament starts today.
It's a tournament.
And they'll have Nicholls State and Middle Tennessee, I believe, is another one, and then Ole Miss. Troy plays. I don't know the exact team. I want to say they play Middle Tennessee today, but on Saturday, tomorrow, they play Ole Miss, and I want to say on Sunday they play Ole Miss. So
wow, a lot to do in Troy. Doesn't the baseball team open up against Holy
the baseball
Cross?
Team, Holy Cross. Welcome to Troy, Alabama, Holy Cross, and of course the
new baseball coach.
Well, yes, sir. We got us a new baseball coach, and we're excited about him. And if you're near a phone, Coach, give us a ring. Number is 670-0052. We'd love to hear from one of the Troy coaches today. But, of course, it's a busy weekend of
sports.
College sports and
High school sports.
Of course, Troy University basketball is on the road today, and on the road tomorrow for a big showdown there. And
well, Troy can win the regular season conference championship right there. That gets you in the NIT.
That would be
wonderful. Give you the
wouldn't
number one seed, which will help you get in the NCAA tournament, the big dance.
Well, I've never heard that about the tournament in New York. I didn't know that we get an automatic bid. Is that right?
That's right. If you're the regular season champion, you get. You know, I think you could make a case that you could get in the NCAA anyway.
Normally, the winner, and you know, this is where the Sun Belt doesn't get the respect that it deserves. Right now, for the last 10 years, the only team from the
Guten Morgen.
The only team from the Sun Belt that made it to the NCAA tournament was the team that won the tournament.
Well, that's by rule. That's who gets the automatic bid.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I think the team that wins and shows they're the best team over the whole season, over 20 games, should get the automatic bid over a team that just gets hot for a couple of days.
Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach, Florida. How's it look down there,
Mike? What do you
think
think about that, Mike?
Well, I mean, I watched a little bit of the Troy game last night. I was shocked they won after the way they performed against Arkansas Little Rock.
You know, they won the game at the free throw line, Mike. Yeah.
Actually won it from the 3-point line. Troy almost shot 50% from the 3-point line, and I was amazed they went on the road. That's such a long trip to Boone, North Carolina, and then you're playing in elevation as well. I don't know if that really.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But anyway.
I wonder if they went out and I hope some of them got to play in the snow yesterday or this morning, wherever they were.
If Troy beats Coastal on Saturday, they'll have 2 straight home games to finish the year. And if they win both those home games, one of them is against Texas State, who's leading. They're in first place. Texas State is in the league. If Troy wins the next 3, they actually will receive an NIT bid as well.
Yeah.
Troy controls its own destiny if they can just win out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least you're guaranteed postseason play if you win the conference outright.
Well, you know, Rice was telling me that this morning, and I'm glad to hear it. You're right. It's
well, I'd argue that I understand why they give the bid to the tournament champion, because it creates interest in the tournaments when they make some money on the tournaments. But in my opinion, the team that wins the regular season should get your automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, because that's the team that did it over 3 months instead of 4 days.
Troy wins in women's softball.
Went to 3.5 at tip. Troy was getting a lot of respect. And, Duke Miles is still not playing for Troy, the guard out of Robert E. Lee.
Yeah.
And if they could ever get him back healthy, I mean, watch out for the tournament in Pensacola.
Yeah. Of course, Troy wins in women's basketball last night. All she does is win. How about that?
Yep.
And Shonda Rigby has her team playing very well right now. I want to say they're on top in the conference. Is that right?
I'll have to look that up.
They they actually beat App State, who is ranked up there pretty high.
After last year's great season, they followed up with another great season.
She is an outstanding
after losing
coach.
Their best player to the portal to Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right. How's that girl done, Mike, since she transferred from Troy?
Good. I think she's averaging around 10 points a game, about 7 rebounds a game.
Yeah, she's helped them a lot.
I don't follow SEC women's basketball much, but I did see last night that Alabama was beating Tennessee in women's basketball, and Tennessee's ranked.
Yeah, Alabama beat them by 20.
Oh boy.
Tennessee's number 12 in the country. That's a big win for Alabama women's basketball.
Yeah, Troy is now 10-2 in the conference, 19-7 overall. They've won 6 straight, and Troy is first place in the Sun Belt in the girls.
Oh boy. All right, that's the girls' schedule. Now, what's the boys?
I'd have to pull it up.
All right. Well, the boys were 8. I want to say they're 18.
The boys are second in the conference. They're 9-4.
All right. So the Arkansas State must have lost to Texas State last night. For that to happen.
Yeah, Texas State's number 1 in the conference.
Yeah.
I think they've got 3 losses. So Troy's 1 loss back in the loss column. But let's forget the NCAA and NIT. Just winning a conference this tough and competitive is a huge accomplishment. Anytime you can win a conference championship, or even be in the running for it. So hats off to Coach Cross, and what a turnaround year this year.
Yeah, he's coming off 11 wins last year.
And actually, how many people, Mike, did Troy lose to the portal in basketball? They lost quite a few, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know if they lost anybody after last year's team. They actually kept guys, which is why they're so deep.
Yeah.
And they got several new ones.
Well, I tell you what, this guy they got, the 6'9" kid, is a brilliant player. Odacy, is that his name?
ODG.
ODG. Let me tell you, he is a real good basketball player. And you know what? He's the kind of guy you can ride with, because he's going to be steady every time you play him. He's 6'9", great kid, not only a great player, he's a great individual. They say he's the leader of the team. And, boy, thank goodness Coach was able to bring in a guy like that to lead the team.
The great thing about him is he's like a huge, big, strong guy, too.
Yeah, that's right.
240. He's not like some little string bean out there.
No question about it.
Yeah, he's thick.
He's from Houston, Texas originally, but he transferred in from UTEP.
Yeah. He's not the only one. I heard of another big name this past week that played at UTEP. So UTEP's given us a good player.
Well, we got.
Yeah, he averaged 9 points and 6 rebounds a game during his career at UTEP. But this is by far his best season he's ever had.
Oh yeah.
Is he a senior?
I think
he's a junior.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Everybody gets that COVID year back.
Well, I tell you, I'm looking forward to watching him play, and he's got one of these shots that's hard to defend. He's got that little short hook, once he gets in there.
Yeah, well, Troy's got some other big people that can play on too. Troy has the most athletic and biggest team they have ever had.
Yeah.
You're right. If you can just have a few guys that hit from the outside, they're tough. And they play hard. They play good defense. They rebound well.
I wonder how many times in Troy's history the men and women have both won 20 games in a season. I want to say it happened under Cunningham when Troy won 22 games, won the Sun Belt Conference, and then they played Duke in the NCAA tournament. I want to say Rigby had a great team that year as well.
Well,
I know it hadn't happened much for both the men's and women's program to have over 20 wins, but it easily happened this year.
Boy, another team.
Especially with Troy at 18 wins, and then all they got to do is if they can just win the 2 home games, that'd be 20 wins. And then you got the tournament, and then Rigby's already at 19 wins. They'll probably be way over 20 before the tournament starts. So.
Exciting, go Trojans.
Sure is.
And then you got baseball starting today as well. This is where it all comes together if you're a fan of athletics at a university.
Well,
baseball, softball, and girls and men's basketball.
High school basketball, a lot of teams, we're talking about Charles Henderson and Pike Liberal Arts just won the state championship, but there's a lot of teams in our viewing area that are still alive in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ozark being one of them. I think Geneva County.
Yeah. Well,
I saw Charles Henderson's basketball jerseys, our uniforms they wear. They have Henderson on it, not Charles Henderson, but they go by the name of Henderson.
Well, that's the name of the school, Henderson High. Henderson High, the alma mater. All Trojans now the hail.
Was that a big deal back in the day when they went from Troy High School to Charles Henderson? Was that like
it must have been. It must have been. I know some people that were right there. I want to say William Davis was the last class to leave old Troy High School, and then In fact, he was the last one. He had a team with Ronald Giddings and Freddie Howard and Jimmy Rose.
Your high school team went from everybody calling it Troy to in 1 year saying, no, you got to call them Charles Henderson now.
And that team went all the way to the state in Tuscaloosa. You know, that was rare for any Charles Henderson team to make it all the way to Tuscaloosa. But when they got to Tuscaloosa, they played a team out of Murphy, Mobile. The starting lineups for Troy, and I was one of the managers. You had at the guards, you had Ronald Giddings and Freddie Howard. The center was Jimmy Rose. The forwards were William Davis and Herbie Huna. Well, that's your starting lineup for Troy High School. The tallest man on the team was Jimmy Rose. He was 6'1".
William Davis is probably about 6'1".
Yeah, maybe very close. But then also coming off the bench would be Larry Ray, Ronnie Lindsay, and those were two of the main guys off of out of the bench. But it wasn't a whole lot of depth there. But the guys that did play were real good.
Cheryl Crow didn't play, or did he play later?
Who now?
Cheryl Crow?
No, Cheryl played earlier. Cheryl Crow played the year before, and that year he broke the school record.
He was a star player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a great shooter and great player, and great friend of mine, Cheryl Crow. I could sit here and talk about him all day long because he's a great guy.
Be kind, honor Cheryl Crow Day today.
Yeah. Good morning, Cheryl Crow, and this is your life right here on Today in L.A. Cheryl Crow, of course.
You showed me where he grew up. We went on a ride around the other day.
He grew up on the Fairview Street. Yeah, he didn't quite make Orange, but in front of his house was where they had the soapbox derby. They made these soapboxes out of. They made them with, most of them had roller skates as wheels. But that's where you had
the whole town came to Fairview.
Well, most of the people in Fairview and Orange and Orion, that's where they took their or made their cars to.
Must have had a little hill, a perfect hill to do it.
Another guy that signed and played his freshman year at Alabama was a guy named Jimmy Williams. He lived right next door to Cheryl Crow, and he was a year behind Cheryl. And he graduated with Cheryl Crow.
Many years later, or several years later, was Mr. McMillan that you said set the record for points in the game.
Steve McMillan holds the school record for points scored in one game. I want to say 47. And of course,
he became the CEO of the Sara Lee Company in Chicago.
And you know what he needs to do? He needs to come back and give back to his school, and we'll name a building after him if he wants us to.
Why can't you and Riley start a Charles Henderson Hospital Hall of Fame?
I know it would be great. And Cheryl Crow would be in that Hall of Fame. Ronald Giddings would be in that Hall of Fame in my book, and those are two great players.
Well, Steve McMillan might be.
Steve McMillan would have to be.
If that just wasn't a one-game wonder, was it?
No, he was good. He was good. Steve McMillan would be in that Hall of Fame, I'm sure. And of course, there are a lot of.
So when y'all played basketball back then, what did y'all have, like wooden backboards or fiberglass backboards?
We in the old gym. We was wooden backboards in the old gym. And then when we got to Charles Henderson High School, or Betty Wagg's gymnasium, for many years they've had the fiberglass backboards. I remember the first fiberglass backboard I've ever seen was Troy. We were playing Central High School of Phoenix City. It was on a Saturday in Phoenix City, and they had a fiberglass backboard, but they were rectangular.
Yeah.
If you ever had, instead of square, they were rectangular, but it was sort of an advantage for Central to play with that goalpost because nobody else had a goalpost, but backboard, because they're the only ones doing it. The second, and I want everybody to hear this, and you people in Carroll High School, Ozark, the first square back rectangular, backboard in high school basketball I've ever seen was at Carroll High School of Ozark. They were the first ones to do it. Enterprise had a big gymnasium. They had a wooden backboard.
When did glass? The glass backboard?
Well, we call it, we call it glass. But Ozark under Coach.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, it's Will Mason.
Hey, Will. We're talking about the first fiberglass backboard.
Yeah. Mike
says it was at Carroll High School in Ozark.
Yes, sir. The first one I ever saw.
You are absolutely correct.
That's right. I remember that. Yes, sir. That's why there's still room in this computer. What?
Cecil Skinner did that.
That's right. Yes, sir. Cecil Skinner from Selma, Alabama.
That was a neat thing.
What
year would that have been approximately, would you guess?
I'd say in the late 60s or early 70s.
I was trying to think of, Coach Skinner played on some great Selma teams that were coached by, what's his name? I'll remember in a minute. Uncle Charles Amos is Uncle Comer Sims. He played for Comer Sims.
For many years, you could not dunk. There was a rule you could not dunk. And I wonder when they changed that in college.
Yeah.
I think it was in the 70s sometime.
I know this, back when Paul Worden had some of those Coach Archer's best teams, they never played with the dunk that I can remember.
It was a rule. You could not dunk. And it would be interesting to learn what year they changed that rule.
And I want to say when...
It was at Bill, it was at least 75, because when we won the conference in 74 and played in Tuscaloosa, a Marquette guy, Bo Ellis, blatantly dunked one, and the ref did not call it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and that should have been a foul, offense back then. That's right.
But you're about right. Mid-70s, Larry Thorpe played for Troy then. It was a great leaper, and he would step it a lot.
See, I don't remember. Did Reginald King and Leon Douglas and all those guys get a lot of dunks? I don't know.
I don't believe they had the dunk back then. I really don't. And of course, old Mew
I'll
King.
tell y'all a story about Vanderbilt and Marquette. Kenneth Thompson from Ozark. He's about 81, I guess, now. Big Auburn basketball fan. He and my daddy, there were about 6 of us that went to the game. And everybody in the stadium was throwing stuff at the ref.
Oh,
when
God.
they threw that call. It cost Vanderbilt the game. And Marquette wound up winning the national championship.
Oh, my gosh.
And anyway, he threw his cigarette lighter on the floor.
Oh, boy.
He had a metal cigarette lighter with an Auburn tiger on it.
Oh, no.
And the next day in the Birmingham News said even an irate Auburn fan threw a cigarette
Oh,
lighter.
God.
So let me get this. This was in the tournament.
This was in the Mid-East Regional.
Yeah.
So Marquette wins the national championship, but they barely beat Vanderbilt. So you're telling me that really if Vanderbilt won that game, Vanderbilt might have won the national championship.
And you know something?
They had F-Truth, they had Matt Britkoff, Terry Thompson.
Yeah.
Those were all your roommates, weren't they?
2 of them were. Joe Ford and Terry Thompson were.
So you were at college in the year era when Vanderbilt could have won the national championship in basketball.
Yeah, they were 16-2 in the league. Now that's unheard of.
Yeah, that's right. No question about it. You know, something very confusing. You had a McGuire coaching at Marquette, and you had a McGuire coaching at South Carolina. Were they the same people?
They were not. No, they were not related.
They weren't related.
No, they were.
No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
No, his brothers. They were brothers.
Were they brothers?
Really? I did not know.
No, we need to find out. Michael can find out. Find out about the McGuires. They one coach.
Related. Al McGuire and Paul McGuire.
Yeah, I think they're brothers.
Al McGuire brought the a lot of Yankees in to play for South Carolina. You remember that? He was from up north. Yeah, Frank McGuire.
Yeah.
And of course, later
Al
on.
McGuire was at Marquette, and his son played for him. His name was Alex.
I think that Press Maravich, he came to LSU from South Carolina, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was. I think he was the coach.
He came to LSU to bring his son there. That's all.
I know, but he had been the head coach at the University of South Carolina.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Boy, wasn't that a fun time to watch basketball? Man, oh man.
They are not related, according to Wikipedia. I didn't think so.
All right. Well, that's
Frank McGuire and Al McGuire are not related.
Will is right again. They did coach against each other though.
Well,
they did. Okay. Yeah.
Al McGuire's son, Allie, played for him. He was a guard. And he would holler out, Allie, cut the shooter.
Not too long ago, I was at the Final Four in New Orleans, and all you could hear was, "We are Marquette. We are Marquette." All over the place.
They were a basketball power for a decade or so.
Ugliest uniforms in the world. They were terrible.
Who else was? It's funny how these teams disappear. DePaul. Remember they had a coach named Meyer?
Yeah, that's right. The old man named Meyer. Yeah, great coach. Yeah.
But DePaul was considered a great basketball program.
Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right. No question about it.
And the coach at DePaul's son coached too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. He sure did. And
well, Georgetown forever was a basketball power, and really, when is the last time you heard of Georgetown?
All right, let me ask you this question: Was DePaul from Chicago, or were they from?
I thought they were Chicago.
Milwaukee. Where were they from?
Chicago.
Okay. All right. All right.
Marquette, Milwaukee.
And then you had a school that you've never heard from since, called Indiana State, that went undefeated and almost won a national. I don't know if they're undefeated, but they almost won a national championship. They lost to Michigan State, all because they had a player named Larry Bird.
Yeah.
But once Larry Bird was gone, that was it for Indiana State.
Another guy that y'all might not ever remember, but he was really a great player. His name was Johnny Egan. You ever heard that name, Johnny Egan, for Providence? He was a great player at Providence, and used to love to watch him in the NIT. I used to watch the NIT, religiously. I thought it was a good tournament.
I remember one time Alabama made it to the finals in the NIT, and they lost to Oklahoma State or somebody.
Welcome to Troy, Alabama for the first time ever. Holy Cross. Holy Cross is the fight song. As a Holy Cross, what is it? What's their nickname? Mike, give me a Holy Cross nickname.
Danny Lee's out there. He could tell us.
Danny Lee.
Crusaders.
The Crusaders of Holy Cross against the Trojans of Troy for the first time ever from Riddle Paceville in Troy, Alabama. You got Holy Cross coming to town from way up north. Do y'all know it? Whoever gets it gets a cheroot.
Hey, Mike. They're from New Hampshire, aren't they?
Yeah, but you got to name me a town in New Hampshire.
Dover?
No. Where are you?
Is Dover in New Hampshire?
Delaware. It's Delaware. And and of course, I always keep up with with one of my favorite teams.
I'm drawing a blank. I can't name one city in New Hampshire. That's pretty sad.
It is where in Massachusetts?
Rhode Island is Providence, isn't it?
I want to say it's from Massachusetts.
It's in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh,
Worcester, Massachusetts.
That's what they used to call you at the restaurant.
And I know, guys, you're homesick already.
Worcester, Massachusetts.
And I know that you guys from Holy Cross have got to be homesick already, as you probably, I would say they flew into Atlanta and then took the bus on into Troy, or what would you say?
Then they're probably making a run through the South to get as many games
They're probably playing 20 games on here.
That funny-looking option on your breakfast buffet are grits, and that's why we eat down here. We eat grits and eggs and bacon.
Well, if you're 19, 20 years old, then it's got to be a lot of fun. So you love baseball. You're clowning with your boys. You're staying in a Hampton Inn every night. You're eating at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not bad.
I would imagine COVID protocols are not as strict down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll like that.
And I know that they're having fun down here. Of course, it's cold, real cold here. It's going to be about 55 today, and the high is going to be about 70. But
John, getting the severe weather. I know around Birmingham, that area, they got a lot of tornadoes.
Mike, go ahead and give us a temperature. I want to say it's in the high 40s. What's
I think it was all
temperature?
north of us, Mike. It was cloudy and it looked ominous, but we dodged the bullet. It was all, there was a lot of rough weather all across a large swath of America, but it was.
Troy is 49 degrees.
49 degrees. What's the high today? Do you know?
It's going to be 56 and sunny.
Oh, so it's going to be cool today in Troy, Alabama.
Low tonight will be freezing.
Oh, no, you're going to have to wear some kind of heavy garment to watch baseball tonight. And this might be a great opportunity for Holy Cross to get a win against the Trojans of Troy.
Wasn't it you, Michael, that told us?
How about Alabama weather on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? It'll be 82, 83, and 83.
Oh, boy. And hopefully hopefully they'll be able to enjoy some of that good weather. And, of course, we're looking for. But again,
I'm going to have to call Terry Moats.
Again, I know they're knocking each other on the shoulder. Say, what is that? What is that? It's called grits, and it's I love grits and eggs.
But you don't like runny grits.
I don't like runny grits. He's right. I'll tell him not.
We like to go to breakfast at Julia's, but it's great. It's a great spread, a buffet. But sometimes their grits are not.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the great grits are at Bird Drugs in downtown. That drugstore's got right there in front of your screen. It's got some great grits and eggs and
they got the best grits.
Bacon, great bacon, boy.
What's the best breakfast place in Ozark, Will?
Our place probably.
Yeah.
Called our place.
Yeah. Will Matthews is coming to us from Ozark this morning.
Riviera yesterday. You probably played Riviera before, haven't you? I did, and I'm going to tell you, I've got a friend starting his senior career today. Brian Gay, this is his first term. He just turned 50. He's from Daleville.
Oh, yeah.
And I played Brian a bunch of little four balls and stuff while he was in high school and college.
Yeah.
Anyway, he just turned 50. And then, of course, my cousin, Doug Barron, he's playing down there. I heard from him yesterday. And I'll tell you something funny. He said he watched Bill and I on your show on Facebook.
Oh, did he? Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we can be seen on Facebook across the country. So if you got any friends at Holy Cross, tell them to turn on to TC2.
Did you hear that? Doug Barron, one of the best senior golfers in the world, watched the show the other day.
All right, let me ask you this. Mike, did you ever know my daddy?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, my daddy.
Oh, I remember your dad, yeah.
In 1990, he was a district judge in Dale County. And I was practicing law by myself. He and I were partners. He calls me up and says, "Son, you want to go to New York?" I said, "For what?" If Vandy wins, they're going to go to New York to the NIT. And they had to beat somebody. Well, anyway, I'm watching Vandy, and they're 17 points behind with about 6 minutes to go, and I turned it off. Well, Vandy back and won the game and went to New York. So Daddy and I went to New York in 1990, and he said, "I'm paying for this. This is my whatever, it's my last trip I'm probably going to ever take. We're going to New York, whatever." And we stayed at the old hotel there in New York, went to Madison Square Garden, and Vandy won the NIT.
Oh, boy.
Put that in your book.
I think they beat St. Louis or somebody.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember who they beat, but they only beat them by 2 points.
We know that you folks from Holy Cross, your namesake and your idol's got to be Bob Cousy.
Well, that's a great story about your trip to the Big Apple. Your team wins the NIT.
How long did y'all stay up there, Will?
Must have been several nights.
It was like they played like on Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
So we stayed up there 3 or 4 days.
I bet y'all had a ball. That was a great memory. That was a great memory you had with your dad.
What hotel did you stay at? The Plaza? Isn't that the most famous?
It was an older hotel, but it was
Oh yeah.
But I'll tell you something funny. We were eating dinner, and it was the middle night where they wasn't having basketball. And the maitre d' is there, and he said, I'd like to order some wine for our dinner. And the maitre d' comes up there with a wine list, and he said, I want to take your recommendation, but I want your finest wine at the cheapest price. I never ever forgot the finest wine at the cheapest price.
Hey, you can do that, can't you?
Hey, let me ask you about your brother, Warren. Is he still active and involved with the Alabama High School Athletic Association basketball tournament?
He is not. Now, he used to do the Final Four every year, but he's not now.
I'd see him at regional tournaments, and I knew that he would.
Yeah.
I didn't know he officiated.
No, he was like an administrator.
Oh, okay, I got you. And of course, he lives in Greenville now. Is that right?
And he's still the all-time best free throw shooter at Carroll High.
Oh, really?
Nobody close.
Yeah.
What was he? Was he like over 90%? Oh yeah. He could not miss. I mean, it was just he was deadly.
Is your brother friends with our?
He's best friends with John Longshore.
No, but also Pat James, who's running for governor.
Oh yeah, Tim James.
I don't know
Tim
if he knows
James.
him or not.
He must know him.
Well, he his residence is Greenville.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I know Tim James. And he's running for governor again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know. I'm friends with Tim James. Dropping names here, or friendly with him, and Kay Ivey too. Kay and I were buddies in Montgomery.
I worked with Kay Ivey years ago, and
There's only guys.
ADO.
One chance Tim James will be the governor.
What?
That's if Kay Ivey drops dead.
Oh God! Please, let us.
That's the only way, because Kay Ivey's going to be the governor.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Kay Ivey's about what, 78? She's up there.
I know Kay Ivey, and I like Kay Ivey, but I sure didn't like that. Did y'all like her ad about our president?
I love it.
You do? Would you?
Yeah, if her mama told she couldn't say anything bad about somebody, don't say anything.
Yeah, that's right.
She's just silent the rest of the commercial. That's great.
Exactly. Hope you folks from Holy Cross that are visiting us are enjoying this show. Of course, we're brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company. Remember, they're the only bank you'll ever need.
Let me tell you some of my Kay Ivey stories. Here's how I got to know her. I was the managing editor of the Montgomery Independent, and so occasionally I would write a political column to save the world and vent. And I'm conservative and libertarian, and so they're all small government. And I wrote some column, and then she was the state treasurer, I think. And I get an email a couple days later, oh, I loved your column. I've been sharing it with people, and it was Kay Ivey. And I said, oh, what? She must have read the Montgomery Independent. I said, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And, well, remember, she got into hot water. It wasn't her fault when the PAC program for the prepaid college tuition, it lost all its money because the stock market crashed. They were all invested, and so everybody that had this program for their kids was worried about whether they could still get a prepaid college tuition. Huge controversy. Well, she wanted to address that. It was some kind of public meeting, which she did at the Reverend Matheson's church in Montgomery. She wanted to let everybody that was upset have a chance to vent and talk to her and the other people on that board. Well, she calls me up and says, Bill, I need a moderator to take the questions.
Uh-oh.
And will you do it? And I said, I'm not real comfortable public speaking in front of that many people, but I said, sure. So I went and talked to her, and she planned it all out, and for 2 hours, I was the guy on stage listening to all these people really badmouth her and this PAC program. But she took it like a champion, and then ever since then, we've been buddies.
Yeah.
And Bill, the legislature bailed her out in came up with the money and paid everybody back. You didn't get your interest, because I had some money in that thing. You didn't get your interest made. You lost that, but you got your principal that you put in.
You did?
That's good.
When is the Alabama Senate race, Will? When is that? May 24th, May 22nd, whatever that Tuesday is that week. So you got Brooks, you got Brett, and then you've got I guess a guy that was a prisoner of war, a military guy that I hear a lot of people talking about now. May 24th, Michael. Yes. So who's the military guy everybody's talking about now that was like a prisoner of war?
No, he was a helicopter pilot that was in the Black Hawk Down incident, wasn't he? In Somalia.
That's right.
Down.
I thought they had captured him.
Well, they might have captured him briefly. You might be right.
He was the only one that lived, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, crazy.
Want to mention also Charles Henderson of Troy goes up against Pike Road this morning at 10:30 at Crampton Bowl Arena, and that'd be a great trip to go up there see the Trojans of Troy against a good team from Pike Road.
That's going to be a tough matchup for Charles Henderson, I would imagine. I would imagine Pike Road has got a lot of great athletes. They're so good in basketball, so good in football and baseball, and I would imagine they've got great athletes in basketball, so that's going to be a tough game today.
They say Charles Henson's got a guy that's about 6'8" that's really, really good.
Last name's, I think, what is his last name? Trey Knox, maybe?
Yeah, that's right.
Don't they have to beat Carroll High first?
Well, Carroll...
7'2" wingspan, they said. Doesn't Troy have to beat Carroll High first?
No.
No.
If they win and then Carroll High wins, they would play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So Carroll has got a shot at the championship in that region.
They're both Ozark and Troy are both going, and then here's the chant we used to do in high school: all Tuscaloosa, all Tuscaloosa. That's we knew that team was so good.
We are Troy.
You were going to Tuscaloosa
Troy.
if you won, and that was the big.
What is this considered now? The Sweet 16?
Yep.
The
regionals are the Sweet 16.
That's right. Yeah.
If they win, Troy wins today, they'll go to the Elite Eight.
And they have had some showdowns with Carroll. I'd like to see how they've done against Carroll this year. I think they've done pretty well. What? Who? Carroll beat Charles Henderson?
No.
Oh, yeah. Charles Henderson's pretty good right now.
Well, here's the way. You got 4 regional tournaments, and you got 4 teams in each regional tournament, so that's 16 teams left.
Yeah. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, we're looking at the NCAA playoffs. And
who does Carroll play today?
Brubaker Tech. It's a magnet school in Montgomery.
Brubaker Tech. In fact, one of Troy University's best players played at Brumac, didn't he?
Brubaker, but they call it Brew Tech.
Desmond Williams.
Yeah, Desmond Williams was a great player at Troy that plays now at Brew Tech.
Oh, guys, Wednesday night, I was in Montgomery that afternoon. I went over to Auburn and watched Vandy and Auburn play. Vandy, I tell you what, Vandy started the game. They were 9-0 ahead of Auburn. I couldn't believe it.
Who is the freshman?
Scottie Pippen Jr., the great Scottie Pippen son.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen Jr. scored 30, I think.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Well, he had 29, and Jabari Smith had 31. Yeah, how much do you think Auburn paid to get Jabari Smith to come for 1 year?
Where did Jabari Smith come from? What school did he transfer from?
No, somewhere in Georgia. High school kid in Georgia.
Oh, he's a high school kid.
Pippen was.
He probably didn't get any NIL money.
Scottie Pippen was a.
He got some NIL money.
You know,
These guys don't come for nothing anymore.
Of course,
I don't know if they do basketball, do they?
yeah. Will, why don't you go down there and check Daytona 500? That's a little stock car race, just a little bitty stock car race down in Daytona. You ever been to it?
I have not.
You know, NASCAR has.
I care less about NASCAR. I don't know how people go to NASCAR.
Well, it's not getting. 20 years ago, it was a huge sport. in packed races all the time. I kept up with it regularly.
Oh, I did too.
But it really suffered in the last, I don't know exactly why.
But I don't know.
You don't hear as much about it. They don't get the attendance they used to, and the TV ratings are way down.
Well, I think we've got that. You and I and everybody else on this show just not stock car races. I got a friend of mine, the great Steve Holly, and Steve Holly played basketball here at Troy. He was an All-American, great player. He goes he goes every year.
Yeah, there's people that are super passionate about it.
And he's got him a place in the middle of the track, and just loves it.
You know who was there is a restaurant, well, the Jubilee's Seafood in Montgomery, and then a bar called Bud's.
Yeah.
Well, Bud owns Jubilee. I think Bud just passed away.
Bud Chambers?
No, not Bud Chambers. Bud that owned Jubilee Seafood. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard that he passed away. But man, he was a huge NASCAR fan.
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there. We just don't see them, And I liked them when we had some the Allisons. I love watching all the Allisons race, and it was back then it was a lot more fun to watch, in my opinion.
Well, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the king, that was the heyday of NASCAR.
Yeah. I remember the '55 Chevrolet and the '57 Chevrolet and the '58 Ford. I can see it was very important whether you like Ford or you like Chevrolet, and maybe throw in a Plymouth every now and then or a Dodge.
Yep. Well, then there's a Troy connection because Jack Roush had that airplane crash in here, and he was friends with Wiley and Ken Campbell.
Tell them that story. I think that's a great story. Can you tell it?
Yeah, because I wrote it.
Let me ask you a question before I got to get off. Who was number 43 in the powder blue car?
Richard Petty, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Richard Petty. Yeah, that's the only one.
That's right. He was the
king. He had the most victories forever. I think somebody beat him.
And of course, every time his son went out to race after he died, don't you know he had tremendous pressure on him?
Oh, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Richard Petty. Richard Petty's son was a driver too. That was
Kyle Petty.
So,
yeah, Richard's still alive. He's 85 years old.
Oh yeah, Kyle. But I was thinking about the great one.
The Man in Black,
the
Intimidator, number 3. He was my favorite driver. I was an Earnhardt man.
Petty and Earnhardt, those were great names.
And then Jeff, what's his name, was the challenged him and beat some of his records? Jeff
Gordon. You're
Gordon. Right. He was
that
not popular
Steve.
because he beat Earnhardt a lot and won a lot of titles. He was not a good old boy. He's from Indiana and sharp.
Yeah.
But I've watched a lot of interviews with Gordon, and there's nothing not to like about him. He's a fine guy.
Yeah. Oh,
great driver.
These stock car drivers get more exposure than anybody. During a race. I mean, how many times do you say? And Gordon has just passed Petty, and you start reeling off all these names of racers, and it tickles me to
here's what
see how many names, different names that come out.
You want to take a commercial break, and then we'll tell.
Yeah, we're going to take our
about Mr. Roush.
We will. That'll be a great little story. We'll be right back.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Right here, right now. It's the Premier Super Truck Sale. 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, and even a 4,500. Ram, Ford, Chevy, GMC. Over 55 trucks. Super Truck Sale price. Save up to $10,000 on select models. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Boy, we got Will Matthews here. He gonna be Steve just happens to go be at the races.
Be in the 500 club.
Well, that'll be. That's up there with the rich folks. Everything's free. Everything's free.
Probably that.
Golly. Steve Camp just has informed us that he will be in Daytona this weekend, and
at the 500 club.
He's sitting in the 500 club. For you folks that understand where we're coming from, there, he doesn't have to worry about any kind of accommodations because it's there if you're in the 500 club. But all right, Richard Petty won it 7 times. Let's see, help me a little bit. Gordon won it 3.
It took Earnhardt forever to win it, but he finally
won
it.
Yarber won it 4 times. Dale Jarrett won it 3. Bobby Allison won it 3.
Richard Petty with the record of 7.
Yeah, Rich Petty, which is the record, has won 7 Daytona races. It's the granddaddy of them all. Earnhardt did one time. One time. That was great, wasn't it? Dale Earnhardt.
I'll tell you, that race where he died, we'll never forget that. I watched all of that one, and, that was the best race ever. Yeah. I mean, he died blocking for his son and his racing partner who won the race.
Yeah.
He was...
Yeah.
Earnhardt's
signature. Let's see. Steve's got it.
Michael Walter won the race.
Dale
Earnhardt. He had never won a race.
You probably now you're gonna tell me just like the guy was telling me about he shook Galt's hands. You're gonna tell me you shook Dale Earnhardt's. You went turkey hunt with Dale Earnhardt. So Steve knows it pretty well. Hey, this is probably worth some money.
Oh yeah.
This is junior though, isn't it?
Show it to everybody.
This is senior. Oh boy, you talking about something really? This is Dale Earnhardt's signature, and Steve's got it. Is this Steve? There's gonna be people all over here trying to break in this place. But this is something. This is Dale Earnhardt's original signature.
Well, the reason NASCAR got so popular is the drivers were
put it in the safe,
accommodating to their fans. They were always going to events and willing to talk to people and sign hats.
Yeah. And then my buddy that flew the helicopter that crashed, and I hated that. He was one of my favorites. Y'all know who that was?
That was Bobby Allison. That's Davey Allison.
Davey Allison. How popular was Davey Allison? He was
a great driver.
He was, like Steve said, he was very popular. He might have been the most popular guy ever if he had lived. Don't you agree?
He was a great driver.
Yeah, he wouldn't have beat Earnhardt.
Yeah, wouldn't beat Earnhardt's record.
The Alabama gang was out of Hueytown.
Yeah, that's right. All those Hueytown.
There's Bobby Allison and his brother, and then there was Neil Bonnet, who was a real good friend with Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
And he died in a crash, too.
Bobby, Donnie, Neil Bonnet, Davey Allison, and then another legendary racer named Red Farmer.
Yeah, boy, he's a great one. Red Farmer, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, he raced for into his 70s, or isn't that right?
I think he did.
He was 70 years old and still racing.
Well, I think he was more known for racing these short tracks and not necessarily on NASCAR.
Let me just say this. As a kid, I remember going to the Montgomery Speedway, and let me see if my mind can draw it in here. And I watched a race, some races there, and the king of the Montgomery tracks was a guy named Sonny Black. Have you ever heard of Sonny Black? Steve?
Have you
ever heard of Sonny Black? Yes, he said yes, and that was the guy at Montgomery Speedway that I can remember.
You know, I have never been to the Montgomery Motor Speedway, and I lived in Montgomery for 12 years.
They're rednecks going out there every day.
I know it.
And we call the good rednecks too. I don't know why they put that label on these race car drivers, but
well, that's where you learn to drive.
Yeah.
And these young people start driving there.
And some people just love to run those tracks. You know, like you said, especially if they got muddy. You know, if they're muddy tracks. You know.
Well, it takes a lot of money to have a car and.
Did you know we have a track near here that is very popular with a lot of people across the state and even into Florida and Georgia and wherever? Is out here at the mud race. It's right out here. We're done. My buddy has that mud race, and people come from all over the place to race in it.
Here in Pike County?
Do you know anything about that, Steve? The mud races. What is it called? But it's a my buddy.
Go to Banks and go out.
Yeah, go to Banks and take a left down Needmore. Yeah, and that's where the mud race is. But a lot of people come into Troy to do that. Isn't that right? If you see a car, you see a truck pulling a car that's muddy.
Oh, you're thinking of the mud park in Needmore.
Yeah, mud park in Needmore. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's done, isn't it?
Mud.
It's called the Mud Park in Needmore. You guys in Holy Cross can catch a ride out there to see that. You'd like it as a mud race. It's the heart of. It used to be the heart of Dixie.
They need to go to Ron
race.
Pierce's place, Butter and Egg.
Yeah, Richie Dunn. Yeah, oh yeah, and that's that. You know what? And there are hundreds of people from all over this part of the country that go to those races. And it's a lot of fun.
I'm more of a wine and cheese guy. I like to go to the race up at the Barber Motorsports Park.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. That is first class racing.
You know, I've never been, but you talk about a good old boy party. Isn't it the field trials in Union Springs?
That was huge.
Well, y'all tell me about that. I mean, I know a lot of people that it was a big deal, wasn't it? Still is, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is? The national dog.
Actually, a real big party. It was all these Auburn University people that would come down, and Troy University would come up, and then the locals from Union Springs.
I've got a friend of mine used to have a wagon, and he would ride around there following those dogs with that wagon. He'd have about 8 or 10 drunks on the wagon with him, and they always had a lot of fun at the. And that was I want to say it was in February every year, and it was huge. You
talking about a place that had a lot of fights. My God, the field trials were something else. Every time you go up there, there'd be fights throughout the night.
Well, it was called there was a bunch of drunks beating up on a bunch of drunks, wasn't it?
Bunch of alcohol.
Yeah, a lot of partying going on at the. I don't know if this is a good example to show these people from Holy Cross coming down here today to play baseball. But Holy Cross.
They can go to Mr. Dunn's.
Their nickname is Holy Cross.
Right,
Holy Cross.
You can go to Mr. Dunn's mud track, which I haven't been to, but I want to see in Needmore. You can go to the field trials, although they're not going on. Well, you can go to the Butter and Egg Adventure Ron Pierce has.
Yeah.
A lot of things you can.
You
go to the Alabama Pioneer Museum.
How about Keith Rowland's place? That's a lot of fun right there for folks that like to get out in the country and have fun and listen.
Go see
to
the Terracotta Warriors at Troy University.
Yeah. Of course, I'm being facetious, ladies and gentlemen, as far as our sort of joking around. We don't mean anything by it. We're just passing the day.
These are oddities or neat attractions of Pike County.
Yeah. I want to mention our good friends at Southeast Alabama Rural Health Association.
They can go hang out with Bo Cephas and Kid Rock.
That's right. Bo Cephas, you can find him, especially during hunting season, about 7 or 8 miles north of here, and Yeah, hey, as the bird flies, it's not that far.
You know, Kid Rock's getting a lot of media attention because he's against some of these mandates, and he's kind of been more vocal about it than other people. He wrote a song about it, and he's got a big concert tour coming up that's getting a lot of attention. And you know, Kid Rock spent a lot of time right here in Troy.
And then if you don't know who Hank is, tell me, Hank, why do you drink? Why do you blow smoke? Da 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 da.
Also, we got Chase Smart and Charles Henderson baseball today at 5 o'clock at Frazier Field.
All right.
Hogan, was it Coach Hogan's hole, I guess?
That's right.
Charles Henderson against Carroll of Ozark.
Oh, they're going to wear Carroll out. They're going to wear Carroll out. Of course, Will Matthews is a Carroll High graduate.
And then Charles Henderson will be on the road tomorrow, traveling to Chilton County to play a game.
That's right, a good program up at Clanton, Chilton County. So that watch Coach Smart's ball club. They're going to be good.
The football team only won 2 games, I think, but they got a young team and better days ahead at Charles Henderson.
Yeah.
Basketball team could compete for a state championship, it looks like.
Yeah.
And the baseball team, we'll see.
No
we got a good young coach, and now his daddy's going to be able to help him out as well.
If you
Brian Meadows, the former major leaguer, is pitching coach.
Is he still working with him, Mike? Does he still work with him? Well, great.
Yeah, Brian's still working.
Of course, Brian Meadows pitched for the 10 years in the major leagues, so we're awfully proud of him. He's from right here in Troy, Alabama.
Need to get Brian to come on the show. You know, Major League Baseball's in a lockout right now. I'm trying to figure out when they're going to start back playing.
Yeah.
I was listening to the DA show on CBS Radio on the way in, and they were talking about the USFL has just unveiled all the uniforms for the 8 teams that are going to be playing.
Yeah.
One of them is the Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah.
And DA made the point that, you know, the baseballs might have a lockout, so maybe this USFL Spring Football League will get more attention than it otherwise would have.
Maybe it will.
Every game will be played in Birmingham, Alabama.
They mentioned that in passing about how they didn't like it that they weren't playing home games.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's going to be great for Birmingham. I tell you, it's going to be super. You know, what you do, you just go and set up your location and just drink and watch baseball and
watch
football.
The Michigan Panthers and
watch the
New
football.
Jersey Generals.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Well, I mean, one good thing about it is it gives all these guys a second chance. So, you know, second, third, and fourth chances. These guys.
We got a quarterback from Troy that is probably going to be playing with one of the teams. Is that right?
I mean, you would think Brandon Silvers would probably try to do it. I guess.
These guys can play. You know, I've heard all these comments about, these minor league teams aren't near as good caliber. Yes, they are. These players, I mean, except for the star players, the other guys, they're all pretty equal. I mean, they constantly bring them onto and off of practice squads as the NFL.
You know, we left a conversation just a moment ago where you were going to talk about the plane crash that happened right here in Troy, Alabama, that shook the stock car world.
I was a NASCAR fan, and Mr. Jack Roush still, I guess to this day, was the big owner. He had about 4 or 5 drivers, all of them very successful. And as I understand it, and I told this story in an article I did for the Troy Citizen, you know, a lot of people are in the aviation field know Kenny Campbell and Wiley Sanders because they're big aviation buffs. And
they have a museum right there that just
they have their own hangar and airplanes, and so it's a good place to come and fly planes. And a lot of people have always done that. Well, Jack Roush is one of those people, and they were practicing for the Talladega 500, and he just came down he's an aviation man, and he came down to Troy to fly some planes, and he was flying an experimental plane, I think, that was out at the Troy airport. It must have been a Wednesday or in the middle of the week.
In the middle of the week.
And I don't know what happened, but he came into difficulty and he crash landed the plane in the little pond between the Pike Pioneer Museum and Palos Verdes Estates. Close to the airport, really. He wasn't far from it. But he crashed. I think he hit some wires and went into the water.
And was
his
submerged.
Plane sunk. And it just so happened that Mr. Larry Hicks, who was a game warden, was at his home at Palos Verdes Estate. I think his house was the first or second one on the left when you pulled into Palos. It's a gated community, but most people have been in there.
It was right there on the water. Yeah.
He said, Mr. Hicks told me that he was watching the WSFA news, the 5 or 6 o'clock news, when there's a plane crash. And he went out there, and he had a boat in his backyard where that pond was, and went out there, got to the plane, dove down, had to go down 2 times, and Mr. Roush was buckled up in the seatbelt, pulled him out of that plane, got him back in his boat, did mouth-to-mouth, and called the emergency people, and miraculously brought him back from death almost and saved his life.
Yeah.
The rest of the story is that Larry Hicks was a cancer survivor that was at home because he was recovering from cancer treatments.
Yeah.
He had also been a former Marine or in the Army, and he had had training on how to rescue downed pilots that he used.
Yeah.
The postscript of the story is
it was a
Jack
miracle.
Roush and Larry Hicks became great friends, as you would imagine, the rest of their life. So he went to many, many races with Mr. Roush, who seemed to be a first-class gentleman all around.
But I tell you what,
that story got a lot of national attention.
I'm sure there's probably been a book written on that because of it just so happened that a trained person in diving and whatever was sitting at his house just minding his own business. Then he hears all this racket going on. He looks out there, and there's this plane that went down in the lake right in front of him.
It's a famous person piloting the plane. And
boy, it was quite a story. And not only did he know how to take care of divers that have submerged and whatever, but he knew how to take care of them, by resuscitating them.
He did everything right. He did tell me that his little brim boat or something that he went out there in, he said the stopper wasn't in it, and when he was getting Mr. Roush back to land, the boat was starting to sink.
Yeah. It seemed like I remember that. You're right. The stopper wasn't in,
So, and all the Pike County rescue people got out there, so at some point he called.
Yeah.
And they were waiting for him, when he got to the shore, or they came out there and helped him get to the shore.
Yeah. Well, I know,
I know he went to like Talladega or some race, and he was honored in front of hundreds of thousands of fans.
He got to be a household word. You're right. You're exactly right.
Mr. Roush, they call him the man. He's famous for his hat. He always wears a black hat. But Larry Hicks is a very humble man, and
of course he's not with us anymore.
Jack Roush, and I always liked the Jack Roush racers, but after that I became a big fan too. Big fan of all the Roush drivers.
Yeah, exactly right. And God bless his soul. No question about it. That was one of the his great acts of not only being brave to go down and bring this guy back to life. Just a miracle.
I think he also said, when he went down in the water, which you can't see.
That's right.
It was just a pond, a mucky pond. He said there was a lot of airplane fuel in the water too, and so he said that got it all in his mouth. The fuel that had leaked out into the water.
Yeah. But of course, that's a story that will be told many times over again. And of course, Mr. Roush is still
He would not be.
living.
This was about 25 years
Yeah,
ago. That would have been Jack Ross would have died in that pond if not for Larry Hicks.
And of course, Larry's with our Savior Jesus Christ in heaven, and Ralph will be there one day, probably. I'm sure. That
was one of the more memorable. That was about a year after this happened. I did a follow-up story, told what happened, but it also talked about the friendship between Larry and Mr. Rouse.
The bond,
and
bond.
That was one of the more memorable feature stories I did.
Yeah. Let's go for one more commercial brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks on the bypass. They've got a tremendous sale right now going on on Ram Trucks and also new and used cars and trucks right here in Troy at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep. And remember, they'll beat anybody's price.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you were out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Right here, right now. Got $1? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, van, SUV, you name it. That's right. Just $1 gets you a pre-owned vehicle during Dollar Days. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Our community is the driving force behind our stores. Our commitment to you has been our #1 priority for over 30 years. Whether it is providing quality, fresh, local, and affordable products or aiding local schools, churches, and charities, Piggly Wiggly is here for you.
Got $1? Get a new car. Got $1? Get a new truck. Just $1 gets you into a new truck or car during Dollar Days. New Rams, new Jeeps, new Dodges, and Chryslers. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Back to our show, brought to you by Road Mart, and we appreciate them very much. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just mentioning Troy's baseball season starts today against Holy Cross at 4 o'clock at Riddle Place Field. They're going to be led by Skylar Meade, the new head coach, who was a former pitching coach at South Carolina, former player at Louisville. His assistants are Adam Godwin, former Troy player, Joe Balakowski, assistant coach, recruiting coordinator Ben Wagner, assistant coach Raleigh Colley, and then director of baseball operations Gavin Pimps will be the coaches for Troy. The roster, of course, there's a lot of baseball players, so the roster for Troy upcoming season is Jesse Hall, infielder, Tallahassee, Florida. Infielder Colton Hipp, sophomore, out of Van Cleve, Mississippi. Gulf Coast State, Gulf Coast out of Panama City Beach. Outfielder Trey Leonard, senior, transfer from Louisville.
Yeah.
So there goes that Louisville connection.
Yeah, you're right.
Transferred in to play. Another guy named Cameron Gray, outfielder, big outfielder, 6'4", 215, from Marianna, Florida, played at Chipola.
I'll take him any day from Chipola.
Infielder, again, interesting, transfer from Coastal Carolina. Redshirt freshman Brady Moore is now at Troy.
Yeah.
Sophomore Kyle Mock, outfielder from Orlando, Florida. This guy's been playing at Troy for a while. Junior catcher Caleb Bartola out of Woodstock, Georgia. Right-handed pitcher Matt Snell out of Dothan, Alabama. It says Dothan, Alabama, but he's from GW Long High School.
Oh, we'll take them all day long. You're right.
This guy transferred in last year. Sophomore pitcher out of Panama City Beach, Mosley High School. Transfer from Florida State, Ryan Petty. Then outfielder, big tall outfielder here, 6'6", 220, Seth Johnson, sophomore out of Wetumpka, Alabama.
Oh, boy.
6'6", 220, baseball player. Wow, he played basketball.
All right, then you got a freshman pitcher out of Auburn High School, great program. Right-handed pitcher Brady Fuller, 6'3", 212. Then you got a junior pitcher out of Loganville High School, 6'5", 220, Babe Wilcher. Then you got a sophomore center fielder, 6'3", 205, Colin Summerhill out of Chicago, Illinois, Trenton College. I don't know where Trenton College is.
Troy, they has some big baseball players.
Then number
those pitchers are big.
15, Justin Kelly, utility player, 6'3", 213, out of Lynn Haven, Florida, Mosley High School, another Gulf Coast State player. Then you got a junior, Will Wagarin, junior, Johns Creek, Georgia, Orange Coast College. And then the star player for Troy, I think he's been 4 years all conference, is back, Rigsby Mosley.
Oh, boy, yeah.
190 outfielder out of Maitland, Florida.
He's a great player.
Is back. This guy was a good pitcher last year. Another Panama City guy. Man, Troy's got a lot of Panama City guys. Marquez Oates. He also was at Marion Military. He's a senior at Troy. Freshman Eric Day, infielder out of Oviedo, Florida. This guy's out of Providence Christian in Dothan, Alabama. Redshirt freshman pitcher Grayson Stewart. Another pitcher Mason Kinney, junior out of Milton, Georgia. Transferred from Furman.
Yeah.
So that's about 5 or 6 transfers so far.
Yeah.
Another infielder, big guy, 6'4", 235, William Sullivan out of Orlando, Florida. Great hospital program, Dr. Phillips.
Yeah.
And then you got a guy out of Pensacola, Florida, Pensacola Catholic, infielder Donovan West. Another pitcher, left-handed pitcher Kyle Gamble, 6'1", 202, out of Polk State College. Another junior outfielder, Brandon Stripp, 6'2", 200, out of Pensacola State College. Then you got a freshman outfielder, Michael Geary, 6'1", 170, out of Orlando, Florida. Freshman out of Dothan High School, right-handed pitcher Dawson Hamilton, 6'3", 200. Sophomore pitcher out of Southern Union, Logan Ross, 6'1", 183. Right-handed pitcher out of Windermere, Florida, Noah Janey, 6', 177. Left-handed pitcher, freshman, Huntsville, Alabama, out of Grisham High School. Left-handed pitcher Dylan Cook, 6'3", 208. And then Clay Stearns out of the Mountain Brook. Sneed State Community College, catcher 6', 222. Another outfielder, Hudson Hartsfield, out of Briarwood Christian of RM, another good school, 6', 180. Then you got a guy that was freshman all-conference last year, Cairo, Georgia, Cairo High School, 6'4", 220, Garrett Gaines, great pitcher last year for Troy.
God, all the players that are over 6'3", it's just, this is the tallest baseball team I've ever heard of. Go ahead.
Also, right-handed pitcher Keaton Fuller, freshman Fairhope, Alabama Fairhope High School. Bo Fletcher, 6'1", 229, right-handed pitcher out of Hartsville, Alabama, Hartsville High School.
Good program.
Infielder Easton Kurt, senior, Wallace Hansfield Community College. Easton Kurt, 6', 220, infielder. And then the last pitcher on Troy's roster has a familiar name. His uncle is Oral Hershiser.
Oh.
Justin Hershiser, 6', 183, out of Windermere, Florida. That is the Troy Trojans baseball lineup for the 2022 season.
Go Troy!
Well, it's interesting to see where they're from and where they came from. A lot from Florida.
You're right. I'm going to pick up me a roster when I get there this afternoon. It's going to be a cool afternoon, but hey, I can't wait to watch Coach Schuyler.
It's got to be
Coach Meade.
Coach Meade.
Came from Louisville.
And
came from South Carolina, played at Louisville.
Yes. And, of course, we're going to find out pretty much how good they are this weekend. But definitely, listen to this. On Tuesday, I'm gonna go get something good to eat and head to Auburn to see Troy play Auburn at Plainsman Park in Auburn, and it's gonna be a great game. And I plan on being there. That's Tuesday. This next Tuesday in Auburn.
Well, you looking for somebody to go with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Especially, didn't we say it's going to be 82 degrees next Tuesday?
Exactly.
I'll work on my suntan.
All right, then we want.
Skylar Mead is an extremely young coach. I think he's only 36, 35 years old.
So we've got a new football coach, a new baseball coach. Coach Cross has been here, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Boy, he turned it around in his third year. That's when you're supposed to turn it around, is your third year.
Of course, now be assured to get out to the softball field where Troy, on 2 different occasions, I want to say Saturday and Sunday, they play Ole Miss, SEC school, and then some other schools are in this tournament. So hopefully Troy gets off a good start. Now let me just say this: our great player from Brantley, listen to this. In 2 outings, he has struck out 27 batters. In two different games, he has the total strikeout so far was 27.
Oh my gosh!
The Johnson for the pitcher.
The softball pitcher.
For softball.
Leanna Johnson.
Yeah, and Mike, she already has 27 strikeouts, and that's a lot of them, isn't it?
Well, let's pitch her against Ole Miss.
Yeah. And she's undefeated so far. Troy
Troy plays Auburn at Plainsman Park at 5 p.m. on Wednesday.
So
let's beat Ole Miss.
I hope it'll be warming up a little bit. Really enjoy that, and I can see.
I bet Auburn is going to have a good baseball team. They've got the coaching staff.
Yeah, no question. So we'll enjoy going over there to make that trip.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. You got Tim Hudson and you got Gabe Gross on that staff. How are those guys not the head coaches?
They don't need the don't need the money, probably.
I imagine there's a bright future for any one of them. And of course, a guy was joking the other day. He said, "Heck, he's got more money than anybody in Auburn." Talking about
Tim Hudson.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Tim Hudson's a borderline Hall of Famer. He won about 220 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great one. And
I would imagine when he pitched against a lot of those steroids, when steroids were rampant in baseball.
Well, that's a good point, too. That makes it even harder.
That were juicing.
Exactly right.
Well, so, he was, I'm surprised he didn't hit better in the pros. I'd like to see his career batting average as a pitcher because he was a
real good
all-star hitter and center fielder when he wasn't pitching at Auburn.
Mike, look up and see how he did as a hitter.
Major League Baseball?
Major League Baseball.
He was in the American League for a while, so I don't think he hit. But when he went to the Braves, he hit.
All right, but just with Braves.
There's the Major League's now decided it's going to be DH in both leagues now.
Yeah, that's right. I like that. I like it. But what was his? How did he do as a batter, Mike?
I'll look and see.
This would be interesting.
And at Auburn, I think he hit like 350 for his career.
I don't know how many times he actually got an opportunity to bat because they probably pinch hitted him. But, he was supposed to be an exceptional hitter.
I don't keep up with Major League Baseball, but there's this guy from Japan that is now pitching and hitting in the Major Leagues and tearing it up, man. He's like a young Babe Ruth.
Yeah, Tim Hudson won 222 games. Career earn run average was 349. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Did it show how he did as a batter? He didn't bat much, did he?
I'll have to look and see. Try to pull that up.
Well, we got to go.
I've got all his pitching stuff. I can't find his batting.
Well, I'll just say this. It's been a great day. We reminisced and we've had fun, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to us and watching us on
Coach Charles Henderson.
TC2 today, and appreciate Steve and all his guys.
The baseball team and the softball team.
Got lots going on. You're right.
Not great. Not great. He was 100. He batted 160 for his career.
That's probably really good for a pitcher, though.
Yeah, one year he hit 218.
Yeah, well, that was good.
He had 4 home runs and 42 RBIs.
Well, that's good. He did show his power. We appreciate it, Mike. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and I hope you'll have a great weekend on today in L.A.
Right here, right now. Got $1? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, van, SUV, you name it. That's right. Just $1 gets you a pre-owned vehicle during Dollar Days. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Our community is the driving force behind our stores. Our commitment to you has been our #1 priority for over 30 years. Whether it is providing quality, fresh, local, and affordable products or aiding local schools, churches, and charities, Piggly Wiggly is here for you.
Got $1? Get a new car. Got $1? Get a new truck. Just $1 gets you into a new truck.